Why, hello. What a fancy surprise. So you want to know how to smash through plateaus. It doesn't matter what it is, it's when your results come to a halt. When you can't get past a certain point in your training and your physique and your strength or even weight loss in order to get through to the other side of these stagnant positions. We want to rip through them, tear them apart, man. Holy shit, I think I gave myself a brain aneurysm. So, there's a couple things we can do to do that and be successful. Number one is changing the tempo at which we are working out, or going amidst our sets, our repetitions. Example. So usually people think, when they think of working out and getting their reps done, whether it be a shoulder press right here, they think they need to do 12 to 15 reps. You always hear that. You always hear the bracket of repetitions to do to create growth in the muscle, 12 to 15, or tone, muscle tone. 12 to 15. So people get on there, grab the weights, fast, super fast. The time amidst that set is probably right around 15 to 20 seconds to get all 12 to 15 reps done. So, where studies have shown the most inducive muscle fatigue and muscle activation and so forth, and mechanical breakdown of the muscle and metabolic breakdown, metabolic increase in the muscle, is when your sets last right around 40 to 55 seconds total. So that 12 to 15 reps should be nice and controlled. Nice good down pattern, nice good up pattern, okay? Nice and smooth and controlled. I'm not telling you it has to be a designated specific timing, but tempo is everything. So decreasing the tempo in which you're performing your reps. Number two, rest time. Rest time is vital. So if you're like, example being, when I was bulking, I was trying to minimize my calorie burn. Therefore, I was having a lot of rest, tons, copious amounts of rest in between my sets to minimize that caloric burn and to minimize the endurance approach you would get with the muscle too, and burning that intramuscular subcutaneous fat out. I want to preserve those calories, so I'm going to have a lot of rest in between sets. When I'm cutting like I'm doing now, I'll have different things like supersets, compound sets. I'll minimize my rest and put it right around 45 seconds to a minute. Like, that's not a lot of time, but that's the point. Rest time minimized, or just alter it from where you're at. Number three, reps and sets. So if you started out in the gym, you're a newbie in the gym, you don't really know how much your body can handle, you want to start out with anywhere from 2 to 3 sets. Feel it out, feel how the muscle works, feel how you're adapting to the stimulus placed upon your body. Don't overdo it, obviously, and see where you're comfortable. From that point, you don't want to stay within 2 to 3 sets for the remainder of your training, period. So you need to constantly place enough stimulus and enough reps, enough sets upon your body so you develop growth. So if you're doing 2 to 3 sets, up it. Do 4 sets. You don't really want to exceed 4 sets unless you're doing something very, very specific, because you don't want to overdo the muscle and overtrain and overreach, because that can just have negating effects towards really where you want to go. So when it comes to sets, like number of sets and number of repetitions, repetition ranges really vary based off of your goal, your overall expansive goal in the long run. So if you're working like strength and power, usually anywhere from 2 to 3 to 5 reps right there. If you're working strictly strength, it's anywhere from 3 to 6 reps. And anything like in the muscular hypertrophy, like gaining lean mass, that's what hypertrophy means, gaining the size of the muscle, building, toning, another example. That's not even, I hate that word, but toning, anywhere from 6 to 12 reps, 6 to 12. And then endurance athletes, people like runners and triathletes and so forth, marathoners, they work anywhere within the 15 rep plus range. So try varying your reps. Number 4, altering the intensity at which you are working. So I refer to intensity in a couple different ways, okay? So intensity can be looked at as a broad approach, like how focused, mentally, how intentional you are when you go into the gym. You're not just going through, not challenging yourself at all. Or it can mean increasing the weight. So, you know, within that 12 to 15 bracket, still giving that example, within that 12 to 15 repetitions, you don't just go through the range of motion and then once you hit 15, okay, I'm done. And you set the weights down and you move on. The rep scheme from 12 to 15 or whatever that bracket of repetitions that we're trying to aim for, that is meant for like the muscular fatigue. It's called volitional muscular fatigue, VMF. We want to reach that point where the muscle can barely perform another rep. You get those forced reps around that bracket, around that rep range. So you want to kind of fail amidst that range. It's not like, oh, you hit 12, okay, I'm good. Or, oh, let's try to hit 15. 15, all right, I hit 15. 15's my lucky number. Good thing I did it. No, you want to get close to failure. You want to push your body to a point of where you can barely do anymore, because that's where you get the growth and the development out of the system. So, like I like to do with my training, with not only myself, but with working out with other people and training other people, I like to maximize the amount of workload we get into a short period of time. We get 50 minutes when I'm working with somebody, okay? So, if we're doing, example, like I do chest and back right now. So I'm doing a chest exercise, and amidst my 45 seconds or a minute and a half rest, what I can be doing is working in opposing muscle groups. So if I'm working chest, I'm going to be working the back, okay? So antagonistic muscle groups, you're limiting yourself to rest, and you're working opposing muscle groups, so therefore when this is working, this is resting. When this is working, this is resting. Get my point? So intensity at which you're performing, whether that be the intentional effort that you're giving when you come into the gym, you know, not just going through the motions, but going through it deliberately, or the weight, the compound sets, and that conclusively. Number 5, exercise selection, okay? So what this means is you wanna start out your workouts with compound heavier movements, closed kinetic chain. So that means multi-joint. So that being squats, presses, whether it's in the frontal plane, sagittal plane, or overhead, whatever it is, deadlifts, rows. So whatever those exercises are that you choose that are compound movements out of that bracket, those are gonna be the ones that you burn the most calories. So we start out with a heavier compound movement, and then later throughout the workout, we progress in, doesn't matter what your goals are, we progress into more of a single joint isolation approach, okay? So single joint meaning one joint at a time. Example, hinges. I'm hinging right now because in working one joint, therefore working that small muscle belly right there, and then right here, isolating the tricep. You can do the same thing, raises, you know, extensions, you know, abduction, so forth and so on. And that's really, really important. A lot of times with exercise selection, when people go into the gym, they think every single time they need to have a different exercise than what they had the last time they came in. To do a legs example. Like people think they need a sprinkle of this. Oh, I did that. I need to really shock the body. You know, shock value is a thing, but muscle confusion isn't something that needs to be, you know, thought of every time. The first thing you should change up, if anything, should be one of those first couple things I mentioned, 1 through 3. You know, rather than exercise selection. The body adapts more so to rep style, tempo, and rest time before it adapts to exercise selection. So exercise selection is at the bottom of the list for a reason. But heavier compound movements, isolation, and branch off. You don't want to have a little bit of everything. I know some people that go to yoga, they go to Pilates, they go to Pure Barre, they go to like those stripper workouts. I don't even know what they are. Second job, whatever that is. No, I'm just kidding. You know, they do all these little things. So there's like a multitude of different exercise stimulus. A little bit of each, a little bit of each. If you're doing a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit there, a little bit there, you're not gonna reach your full potential. Dive in completely into one thing and have a little bit of this and maybe a little bit of that on the side. But you wanna have that main course of action, placement upon the body, stress on the body in order to get results. If you do a little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, you're not gonna get ultimately where you want to be in the long run. So focus solely on one thing, and you can branch off and do a little bit here and there for fun. It'll get you further in the long run, I promise. Focal point, a little bit on the outside, okay? So one of the most overlooked things in order to smash through a plateau and get through a stagnant position in your training where your aesthetics not where you want to be, you're not dropping weight, you're not building muscle, and you're not getting stronger is stop eating shit. Stop eating bad food. Stop. You know, it's all about what you put in. You probably heard the thing, it's 70% what you do in the kitchen, it's only 30% what you do in the training weight room and, you know, working out. I don't agree with that 100% just because I feel like it's 100% what you do in the kitchen and 100% what you do in training, okay? I'm not even gonna dive into the nutrition portion of it because I previously stated something like that on my recent video, one of my vlogs before. You can go check that out. I'm not gonna make it that easy on you. You gotta work for it a little bit. So it's a deliberate approach, okay? Every single thing needs to be accounted for, and you need to take into consideration that what you're doing with your body, you are the coordinator. You adapt to what you do, and you need to change things over time in order to see progression. So manipulating some variables, the first three are going to be the most important overall, and then exercise selection and so forth and intensity, everything else can kind of follow suit. But I always want you to be intentional in the gym. I always want you to be intentional with what you're doing, because that, you know, if you're not intentional, if you don't know what you're doing and what you're doing it for, where are we gonna get? Where are we gonna go? So those are the different things you can do to get you where you wanna be. If you came to a standpoint, you're like, man, I'm working out, I'm not getting where I wanna get to. Either try those things, research it a little bit. I listed them out for you. You can screenshot them. You can look into it a little bit more. You know, research them. Find what things you need to do. You know, it's all in there. It's all in the studies. It's all done. Or if you don't want to do that, you want to make things super simple, contact me. I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I will come work with you. I will work with you one-on-one and get you to exactly where you want to be. It's my specialty and it is my passion to do so. I love doing it and I love this style of life. So guys, if you enjoyed what you saw, if it was helpful by any means, please drop a like down below, subscribe. You can even share it to your friends, man, if they need assistance, need any kind of a guidance, a little guiding hand, helping hand. Shoot it over their way. You know, I'm spreading the wealth of good health. I always say that, but it's so true, and I love doing this. You know, I don't know everything. I don't. But I'm going to shed light on the areas that I do know and try to push it your way, try to motivate you, inspire you, and challenge you to be the best you can be. So you got the down low, how to annihilate those plateaus, get through and get better every single day. All right, until next time, I will see you next week, right?